A Devious Deed, written and told by Kiefer Adams. Adapted from Annual Stories by Christopher Aldry. Duck the Great Western Engine was enjoying his work on the island of Sodor. Recently, a Class 08 shunter called Diesel had come to the island on trial. Diesel had claimed he was revolutionary, and Duck persuaded him to take his trucks while he had another job. It had not gone well. Ever since, Diesel had wanted to teach Duck a lesson. But the three big engines couldn't stop singing Duck's praises. "You're a natural at this, Duck," said Gordon. "What would we do without you?" said Henry. "Absolutely," agreed James. "You wouldn't catch him slacking us off to trucks, would you?" "You're all too kind," said Duck. The day after Diesel had had trouble with trucks, Duck went to work at Tidmouth for the day. Little did he know chaos would be waiting for him when he returned. Duck didn't mind being away from the big station. He had worked at Tidmouth a few times before and was soon busy shunting trucks into their proper place, each one talking louder about Diesel than the last. Duck just took no notice. At that moment, Thomas arrived with Annie and Clarabelle. Duck, aren't you worried about that shunter?" he asked. "Diesel," said Duck. "Don't worry about him. He won't cause me any more trouble." "Well, I just saw him at the big station yard," said Thomas. "He looks to be up to something. I'd be careful." "Oh, you're just seeing things, Thomas," said Duck. "I don't need to worry about him now." "If you say so," said Thomas. "Just be careful." And Thomas carried on his way. Duck went back to his shunting, but it would have been wise for him to have listened to Thomas all the same. Meanwhile, Henry was pulling a commuter train. Enthusiasts from the other railway had come to see the island, having heard about its beauty and tranquility. Henry was just approaching the junction of Thomas's branch line when his brakes came on with a screech and a groan. "Oh!" he cried, as though something was wrong. He came to a stop on the platform and wondered what was going on. A few minutes later, the guard came up to the cab. "What's happened?" asked Henry's driver. "Sorry about that," said the guard. "One of the enthusiasts mistook the emergency cable to summon food and drink. We should be on our way again soon," said Henry's fireman. "Thanks for telling us." The guard went back to the brake coach. But as Henry set off again, he heard a clunk, 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 clunk on one of his wheels. He clanked all the way to the big station. "One of your wheels has got a flat tire," said the driver. "We can get it fixed before tonight." "That's a mercy," said Henry with relief. However, Henry had not noticed that Diesel was also at the big station too, and had not only seen everything, but heard it too. Diesel returned to the yard. He was eager to tell the trucks about Henry's misfortune. He would have succeeded if James hadn't stopped him. "I've got an important goods train for the other railway," he said sharply. "You see those vans over there? They need to be part of my train when I come back." And he stormed away to fetch some coal and water. Diesel had been too busy thinking about Henry. He thought James had said, "Leave the vans there and get my train sorted," which of course he did. By the time James returned, he was very cross to see that the vans had not been added to the train. "Typical," he grunted. "No wonder Duck played that trick on you. Call yourself revolutionary, can't even sort trucks out properly." James had to arrange the vans himself, and it made him late. Diesel seethed with rage as James puffed away indignantly. He growled and made his way to the yard where the trucks were waiting. Who does that red monster think he is, talking to me like that? Scowled Diesel. You wouldn't be saying that if you hadn't heard what happened recently, said a voice. Diesel looked over and saw a rather scruffy-looking coal truck looking at him. Go on, said Diesel. A few weeks ago, 2 boys were mucking around on James's footplate, said the truck. James was made a runaway. Edward, with an inspector, a shunter's pole and some wire rope, had to stop James. Remarkable, exclaimed Diesel. The truck smiled. We all have great respect for Edward and wouldn't want to do anything to him. But as for James, say if he's working on a rainy day, then the rain would make James's paintwork more like rust, said Diesel. Thank you, my scruffy friend. I will take that into account. He purred away. The truck beamed. I'll get to be a private wagon for this. The truck chuckled. Now that Diesel had seen what had happened with Henry and James, he decided to have a full house and wondered what to do about Gordon. He is quite strong, and he'll probably catch on quicker than the others, he thought to himself. Not if you knew his background, said a voice. Diesel stared. Waiting in a siding was a brake van, giving him a rather sly look. Do tell about Gordon, said Diesel. Oh, well, said the van. Long before I came here, I used to work on the other railway. In fact, I worked on the region that Gordon came from. Oh, really? Said Diesel. Oh, yes, said the van. The engines there had very strange names. Lemberg, Pretty Polly. Don't they sound like horses to you, mate? Indeed they do, agreed Diesel. But what I also like is that when Gordon glides with the express, he gallops like a horse. I think you're on the right lines there, pal, said the van. Well, thank you very much, said Diesel. He rolled away, while the van chuckled. I think he and I are going to get on just fine, he smirked. That evening, Diesel passed through the big station, where Gordon was sitting in his siding about to take on a drink. The weather had been hot all day, and Duck was due to return from Tidmouth. Gordon had had a good run with the express, but he was thirsty. The fireman drew the water tower's nozzle over Gordon's boiler, but some water from it trickled onto it, and Gordon felt himself sizzling. Oh, ouch! He cried. Steady on, boys. Sorry, Gordon, said his fireman. We didn't mean to make you sizzle like a sausage. Diesel saw everything and smirked. He rolled past Gordon, pretending not to have seen anything. The engines were soon making their way back to the shed. Henry's wheel had been repaired, Gordon felt sore from the sizzle, and James had been late with his train. But that was the least of their problems. As they puffed through the yard, the trucks shouted at the top of their voices. Look! It's Galloping Sausage! They shouted when Gordon passed. And there's old Square Wheels, another truck said when Henry rolled by. And let's not forget the rusted red scrap iron, said a van, addressing James. Who told you all this? Bellowed Gordon. Why, Duck, of course, said the trucks, and they giggled in their silly way. Gordon, Henry and James stormed back to the shed, feeling rather betrayed by what Duck had done. All the while, Duck was making his way back to the yard. He had no idea what he was in for, but we know what happened next, don't we?